What is going on, YouTube? I am your host, the Financial Conspirator, your guide for everything financials and conspiracies. Today, we are back with another collab with the Rakim X on Instagram and EdgeOutTrading.eth, otherwise known as
Peace,
MJ.
family.
Welcome back, boys.
Peace, man. It's glad to be back
Sorry
on
I
here.
missed the last couple of weeks. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad to be on here. You know what I'm saying? Chopping it up. It's been, been a little minute. Schedule's been changed up, but we
Took a
back.
little break. Took a little break. We back
Yeah.
now.
Yes, sir.
MJ, thank you for joining us, my guy.
No doubt, bro. Sorry I didn't make the last couple of weeks, man. It's been a little bit hectic. Just kind of didn't have the time to make, but we are back and locked and loaded, man. I'm ready to go. Appreciate you for staying down and still doing your thing. I know Rakim, he was in and out as well. We didn't get you
Hmm.
your weekly dose of info for the fam, for the crew, and for everybody who don't know what's going on and want a little bit of real insight, man. Apologize for that. But we're gonna keep getting better, man. You know, every day is a new day to get better. So let's get to it.
Yes, sir. We got to battle
Exactly. We back.
with the shade room gossips and all of that. We got to bring some real information. You know what I'm saying?
Know what I'm saying? We bringing the real info to the streets,
To
to
the
the
streets.
screens, to the screens. So, what we're going to be going over today is the job market again, interest rates again, and then we're going to talk about a little bit of Bitcoin adoption going on over the world from Walmart, your local Walmart, to Brazil. And then we're going to be going over some GBTC red flags. Previously, I think we mentioned proof of reserves on the Chainlink system and how important that would be to have users be able to audit exchanges, and it's already coming back around into the news. And then we're going to compare this current FTX meltdown with the Mount Gox meltdown. So first up, we've got layoffs. We got Amazon announcing a 10,000 layoffs a few weeks ago. Twitter, 50% of the workforce, 20% from Snapchat. Meta, almost 15%. Credit Suisse, 5%. And Apple and Disney are both freezing hires. So this is not matching, some would say, the current or the recent data coming out with jobs. But do you guys think that this is going to affect jobs in the short term or more of a 3 months, 6 months time frame? Or when do you guys think this will actually start making an impact on the job market? Rakim, you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first. I think the impact that this has on the job market, I think it just shows that money is drying up because these are some of the biggest companies in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like laying off on free or on hiring people, cutting people. So it's like it's a lot of money being dried up in the economy. Like a lot of that 2020 money, printed money, is drying up, and a lot of these companies is like, you know what I'm saying, being cautious with what's coming up in these times. We already know we're in a recession by definition. You know, they want to change the definition, but we already know we're in a recession. So I just think this is a sign that this money is drying up. Uh, just people cutting back. They got to watch their balance sheets, which really they got more than enough money, but you know what I'm saying. They got the different margins that they stay within, and you know.
Oh yeah, people are the first thing you can cut easily. So that's the first thing they're gonna do.
Unfortunately, that's true. We talked about this quite some time ago when all of the ruckus was first jumping off in the markets, and we saw that first major slide. Down that obviously the layoffs would come into play. And I don't, man, bro. If you zoom out and you look at the big picture, there's been companies that have been laying off, and you know since pre-COVID, like during COVID, a lot of companies have been consistently laying off and scaling back. I got some friends that work in the tech industry that said, they've been scaling down on employees and hiring freezes and all that stuff for the last year and a half. So, how long does it take to, you know, trickle down to the markets in real time? I personally think they cook the book so much it doesn't really matter what the real numbers is, because when unemployment was very high, and it was really hard out here to get people to work. They were saying that everything was peachy and everything was fine. Now we're looking on the inverse. So I think it's going to be an interesting development for a lot of these companies, but I think they will survive. Twitter, and then a lot of these companies were bloated. They didn't need a lot of the staff that they had. It's a good time if you're an investor, if you run a business. It's a good time to reevaluate your strategy, and if you can't cut back on, you know, sometimes it just happens to be people. But I think for so much as the market goes, I think we'll see early next year. Well, we'll see the stuff starting to get priced into the market for some of these top companies.
I agree
No,
100%.
that's a fact. You said a lot of these companies were bloated. I believe I've seen a metric where Amazon between the last 2 years hired like 800,000 employees or something like that. So they just been, stacking up on employees.
Absolutely. And I
Yeah,
want to remind people, Powell said himself, we've already, well, we don't know the immediate effects of our rapid rate hikes or something along those lines. We don't know the immediate effects. It's going to take a couple of months, I think, weeks, months to trickle down into the economy, because raising by 75 basis points for the past months, that's going to have a very serious effect on lending, borrowing, hiring. It's going to have an effect on everything.
Exactly. Exactly. That could really lead us into our next topic, talking about the interest rates. You know what I'm saying?
And speaking of
Yeah.
interest rates, the one thing that people are talking about is everyone's in, or more people are starting to use their credit cards. If we look at credit card usage, it's
household
starting
credit
to
card
rise.
debt.
All that is starting to go way up. And if you have interest rates that are going up on debt, we're already at debt levels that we've never seen before. And now we're adding interest onto that debt. People are going to be spending over $1 billion a day on interest payments on debt. So they're not even getting down to the actual principal of what they owe. They're just paying off the interest. And this is a vicious cycle where you're constantly paying, using all the money that you have to pay bills, and you're not even bringing the bills down, because this is what the Federal Reserve, fractional reserve banking system wants, essentially, a whole bunch of slaves who own nothing. And they'll be happy in the end. What, are you guys happy?
I'm happy. I love my life, bro. I feel like this, man. If you objectively look at the situation, right? So during COVID, you had unprecedented amounts of money being printed. People had, they were basically given stimulus checks. Bills were, wiped away. People were saying, "Oh, don't worry about the bills." Jobs were paying for nothing, right? They were paying you to sit at home for extended periods of time. That's not like, if you know how the system works, bro. You can't. The system doesn't just work like that, bro. You pay for it now. You pay for it later. You can't just print limited amounts of money, give everybody as much money as they want, let them sit at home and not work and contribute to the capitalist machine, and expect the machine to keep rolling. What we're seeing with the interest rates and them starting to taper back is, this is the first little injection of control outside of mindless printing that we did for the last 2 years, right? Now they're saying, okay, we printed for 2 years. I look to see, like, we'll probably be raising and adjusting interest rates for the next 2 years. I don't know if we'll get back to zero or flat within the next 5 years, if I'm being totally honest. Like I said, it's easy to print the money. It's a lot harder to rein that in and get it back under control. So I think that's what we're looking at. And who is the IOUs? Who holds the IOUs? Who holds that?
Twos.
Hey, nah, that's actually crazy, because like the fact that what they were trying to get a target through interest rates, they were trying to raise interest rates to the point where inflation would get down to 2%, and inflation came down, but it's still at 7.7%. You know what I'm saying? Supposedly to their numbers, but like all of this interest rate, they've been raising
Been
rates
at
the
a
whole
solid
year.
18% for the last
We
18
we
months,
had
but
a
we ain't gonna talk
solid
about it.
20% inflation rate. But like they've only been raising rates for this year, and then they said in 2023 they're gonna roll off the balance sheet and stuff like that. So it's still gonna be a lot of like, even though they cut down on interest rates in the short term right now, I think it's still gonna be a lot of blood in the water, especially in terms of markets and things like that. And then leading into 2024, I have a sense that something big is gonna happen before that 2024 presidential election, plus Bitcoin having an event, many different
Oh
things
yeah,
going
man,
on.
Trump coming back, bro. He gonna save us. Don't worry.
The fact that Trump coming back, he like coming back to save the economy after he get elected, it might be booming, things like that. You know what I'm saying? They gotta drag it out. But yeah, man, it's crazy because like, so the interest rates have been raising a lot this year, and really like what were we around like 5 something %, but like it's just crazy where we are right now. You know what I'm saying, in history, and the fact that inflation is still supposedly 7.7%.
Exactly. It's still high.
It's pretty insane. Yeah.
I haven't seen prices go down on not nothing, so I don't know where things are going down.
I will say this. I live in Riviera Maya, and we have some of the most expensive gas prices in the world. I'll say that, and the gas prices have actually came down a little bit here. So that's the one thing that I can say we actually.
Now you paying in dollars, like US dollars, or?
No, I'm paying in pesos, but like if you do the conversion to dollars, it's pretty like even for Mexican standards, like for Mexico standards, it's pretty exciting. I drive a 2008 Jetta, little Volkswagen Jetta, and it costs about 65 US dollars to fill it up, bro. But at the same time, I live in a tiny little town, and one tank of gas lasts me like almost a whole month. So, you know what I mean? It's a give and take, but fuel is expensive. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I just want to push this one little point across. Americans are going to be spending $303 billion on interest payments, not the principal on interest. Compared to what they're going to be spending on housing, that's $81 billion. So you're paying around 4 times the amount you're paying on your house on interest payments, and they're going up. And the Fed is raising and still raising. And they're saying that we have a long way to go. He said that we have a long way to go. Despite lowering from 75 to 50, that's still him raising. I don't know where people are getting this bullish sentiment where lowering from 3/4 of a point to half of a point is bullish. He's still raising, guys. So I just want people to remain vigilant, remain cautious. So yeah, just be careful.
And that's the type of,
you gotta use the right verbiage. They're slowing. They're
slowing.
They're still raising it, just at a slower rate.
It's
all about
bottoms
words,
in,
man.
Bottoms in, boys.
And I think that's that buzz high people get off of certain news. Like, bro, it wasn't at one point this year where they raised interest rates by 50 basis points, and then they went up to 75.
Yes, and then they moved back
and
up.
now they're like, oh, we're gonna come down to the level that we started at in the beginning of the, like, it's like, bro, at the same time, like I said, it's still raising, but it's just pulling it back just for now. Like, sometimes I'm gonna be honest, sometimes you can't listen to people in these freaking news articles, bro. They'll take
traders,
1 foot a mile. Like, oh my goodness, bro.
Or some of these traders, between the news and some of these traders with their charts drawn, oh yeah, we're going, bro. They don't even understand market structure or understand what, But the thing is, it doesn't really matter what we think, right? Like, the market sentiment is going to be moved. If they want to move the market up, they're going to move the market up. If they want to move it down, they want to move it down. Like, they raised it. So, like, let's, real quick, over the futures market, they raised the interest rates this week. So Thursday, Friday, we saw a pop in the markets, right? Like, everything kind of jumped up. We covered some ground, and then it kind of just got stuck, right? Because it was like, well, they raised the rates, but it wasn't as aggressive as the market was expecting, right? So the market kind of jolted a little bit, and then it came back. It's like, well, I don't really want to go that hard. So we're still kind of in that same range, bro. We've been stuck in this range since about really, if you want to go all the way back, since about October last year, but more recently in this newer range is about June. So until we break some of this applies to crypto too. Money just flows into one market into one market, out of one market, into another market, and they're all correlated. So, this applies to crypto as well. So just keep that in mind when you're out here trading, man. And if you understand how money works, you understand fractional reserve banking, you understand interest rates, and you understand market sentiment and market psychology, then you can think like the market manipulators or the market makers and take advantage of these things. There was some good positions. There was money to be made, bro. You know what I mean? There's always money to be made out here in these markets. So, there's some good long positions to be had. There's some good short positions to be had as well. Just being vigilant.
Yeah, man, there's always money to be made somewhere in the market. I know we named the stream about somewhat good news, looking on the somewhat bright side, and we've just been very bearish for the past 10 minutes. So let's switch the little momentum a little bit. Let's get the aura back positive. All right. We're just talking about the end of the world just now, and this is like we're supposed to be looking on the bright side here. So Bitcoin, that we're starting to have major oil conglomerates move into the Bitcoin mining industry. Now, I've heard that Bitcoin mining is so evil and so bad for the planet. Yet, oil giant Shell makes the move into the mining industry. They're going to have a 2-year partnership with the Bitcoin conference, and they're going to be sponsoring Bitcoin Magazine, I guess, while also mining Bitcoin on the side. So what do you guys think of Shell mining Bitcoin?
I think Shell mining Bitcoin is like getting into the new energy sector of the world. You know what I'm saying? Like technology and all of it, like crypto and many different things. It's like the new energy sector along with the whole green energy sector, because somebody like I wouldn't be surprised if we seen something happen down the line and somebody's trying to crack down on Shell for not being a clean Bitcoin miner. And then they out of nowhere start mining Bitcoin and they turn into an electric, like, hey.
Then all of a sudden you're gonna need some Bitcoin to drive your electric car, huh?
Exactly. Yeah. Then all of a sudden you're gonna need to pay in Bitcoin for a gas powered car right now. You know what I'm saying?
Funny how that's gonna work.
Satoshi per gallon.
Yeah, bro. Exactly. I can't wait. I can't wait. And the reason why I can't wait for that is because if you can conceptualize what the price of Bitcoin or crypto in general would need to be once we have full retail access, the people who don't have it are going to be way more pissed off than the people that have been building and holding and waiting. So it, everybody calls Bitcoin crypto gold. So it obviously makes sense to take part in mining. My style, bro. I would encourage everybody to look into Bitcoin mining, to look into crypto mining. There is a little bit of upstart cost to it, but there are some ways where you can generate money. You can do this too, man. Like everything that these companies, and this is why it's so dope. Everything that these companies are doing, you may not have the scale to have, a 1,000-yard warehouse full of, hard drives and computing.
All you need is one miner to start.
All you need is one miner to start. You can get you one miner off of Amazon, right? Like you can buy a miner off of Amazon or Walmart, right? Aren't we going there next?
Crazy.
You can get some of this stuff, and if you're smart, you can get you a solar power setup or a generator. It's not really that it consumes a lot of energy, but if you want to offset your energy bill, there's a way where you can set it up to where it runs off of solar energy and it doesn't cost you anything to run it other than the hardware. So exactly. People gotta understand, like when I see stuff like this makes me excited. Because I know there's some people out there that are like, oh damn, I can mine Bitcoin too. Like if you didn't know that, yes you can. Yes, you can absolutely mine Bitcoin.
Yeah, and to make note. And to make note of it, this doesn't mean that Shell is like taking over Bitcoin. This just means they're becoming a miner and they validate.
They get the same amount. Like, they get the same amount per mine as everyone else.
All right.
They'll be like the big oil guys. They're taking over big. Like, nah, they just are participating in mining. Like, no, you can't really take over Bitcoin.
They're adding
Like the
security
whole
to the
network.
network.
They're adding security
Yeah.
to the network.
They're
That's
basically
exactly
adding
what
infrastructure.
they're adding infrastructure.
Bitcoin is the only coin where everything has to go. It has to be built around Bitcoin. Ethereum, you build on top of Ethereum. You use Ethereum to build whatever you're doing. And Bitcoin is the focus. You are on Bitcoin. There's nothing you can do to change it. We're not moving to proof of stake. We're not voting to change anything. If you have some kind of technology that you think would help the space, you can actually put that as an idea, and that has to get voted upon by everyone in the entire ecosystem, has an equal vote. There is no this one shareholder is staking more Bitcoin, so he gets a bigger say than this little guy over here. That it's non-existent. So this is why I think Bitcoin is one of one. Crypto gold. There's other technologies. There's silver. There's palladium. There's Ethereum, Cardano. But there's one gold and there's one Bitcoin. Like that's it. So
Couldn't have said it better
India,
myself, man.
yeah, I mean that's all there is to it. India is launching a digital rupee, a CBDC. They didn't put it in the title because they know people don't like that. And Brazil, on the other hand, is offering freedom through a bill to legalize crypto payments. So you can see here a complete contrast in ideologies. One country advocating for self sovereignty, the other one advocating for full, complete slavery control. Not only do
India,
we have, yeah,
one of the before you move on, India is one of it's right behind China as far as like emerging markets. They're going to be a competitor. It does matter long term what India is doing, but I do agree with what you said. 1 second.
And,
oh
and
yeah,
not only
it's
that,
huge.
to piggyback off of what he said, there's some platforms like smart contract platforms that are actually building the infrastructure that these companies are, creating their digital currencies on top of. Although, yeah, these people may have not so good intentions in mind, maybe having controlling intentions in mind, but you can get invested in some of the rails that they're using or the infrastructure and equipment that they're using to build certain things like XRP or XLM. And that's where I see, like, those type of cryptos coming into play, where you do have two sides of the coin, where you have the decentralized type of cryptos and things like that, and then you have the ones that are building the infrastructure or have the infrastructure for these digital currencies for countries and things like that. So yeah.
Yep, there's money to be made on both sides of it.
Hmm.
Money to be made on both sides of it. And we have another, basically, scam artist, Grayscale, or digital group digital, or something like that. They are refusing to share their proof of reserves due to security concerns, as the shares trade at a 45% discount to Bitcoin. I don't understand, now that I think about it, how, if you're holding one of one, how are you losing more than the asset you're holding? Do you guys think that this is some kind of collusion at play? Because I know they were somewhat involved in FTX and the Winklevi twins. So do you guys think this is going to come out as another scandal, or is Grayscale okay? This is just a bump in the road.
uh it was, I believe you were looking to refer to digital currency group, right?
That's it.
Yeah.
DCG.
um I think this could be another scandal, but I think it might be one that'll like pan out and get overlooked. Now, in the midst of all of this, is if Grayscale gets the Bitcoin ETF going and it gets approved, I think this could be a scandal that pans out and fades away, because like the gold and silver ETFs that are on the stock market, where each contract isn't back, 1 to 1 with, an ounce of silver or an ounce of gold for real. I think this is what Grayscale is trying to do, and that's probably why they're not, doing their proof of reserve, or not looking to share their proof of reserve, because they really don't have it, but they're trying so hard to get this ETF passed on so they can run like the same thing that goes on in the gold and silver markets as well.
Yeah, I think it's what this. Well, if it turns out they don't actually have Bitcoin, this whole creating a fund to then give investors exposure, it could be a way to inflate or artificially inflate the Bitcoin supply, because now you have an entity that holds or buys Bitcoin or says that they're buying Bitcoin, and they're selling a a note, basically a US dollar backed by nothing, which says, oh, we do have Bitcoin for you, but you can't actually go and exchange it for your Bitcoin. You just have to hold it here on your E-Trade account. But it is, you can transfer it in the Bitcoin. Trust us, believe us. We have the amount of Bitcoin for every share that you hold. We do have that. So I think this is a very a risky and a delicate situation to have entities like Grayscale and entities like the Rothschilds and other who buy into Grayscale ETFs, and now they hold a fake paper supply of Bitcoin. It could be a very serious issue as terms of supply.
I hear what you're saying, but I think that I feel like you got rich people problems, you got poor people problems. Why would you buy into Grayscale when you could just buy Bitcoin?
Because you're not MJ. You are a house investor. You're like a family investment corporation. You have $20 billion on your assets under management. You can't just go get a ledger and buy Bitcoin. That's not legal.
Kathy Woods, you know,
but that was her personal money. She didn't buy that for ARK. Mm-hmm. There are laws, or there is no laws that tells banks and whatnot that, okay, here, you can buy Bitcoin directly. But I don't think, now that I think about it, it would be more beneficial for them to keep confusion with the regulation, because now they can artificially inflate a supply. They can create shares outstanding. Yeah, deflate the supply. That's exactly. Pretend that they do have Bitcoin when they really do. I mean, it's a very...
I never bought into the Grayscale shit. Honestly, I never bought into it. It sounded good. It sounded better than I knew it could be. Because once you go FDIC insured, once you're trading on the stock exchange, once you're doing that, you're lending yourself at the mercy of the Federal Reserve, and you're basically right back to fractional reserve banking, which is not you can't do that with crypto. You can't do that with Bitcoin. The ledgers, all of the transaction hashes will not allow that to happen. So I never bought into it. Like I said, why would you? I get it. The Rothschilds hold a bunch of Grayscale. I don't give a fuck. I hope they get washed out.
and that's the thing. It's just like the situation with JP Morgan and them spoofing the gold or the precious metals market. Like they make themselves have like this such big influence on the market when they come out with products like these, and then they literally put out news. Oh, we bought Bitcoin here. We sold Bitcoin, but you're really selling GBTC. You know what I'm saying? But you're not really holding Bitcoin, you know what I'm saying? But for every retail investor, I would say this is why it's important to a self-custody, because you don't want any counterparty risk with people like this, because you don't know what games they be playing. I'm gonna be honest. You don't know what games they play with. I don't know why they do this, but they play games.
Yeah, they do. And if you don't understand, if you don't understand how the market works, if you don't understand how fractional reserve banking works, you should not be touching Bitcoin. Like, if you just want to keep it all the way 100, and if you do know how those things work and you understand, then you also have to understand the importance of self-custody and having your own crypto on a hard wallet, cold wallet, and having control over your keys, off exchanges. Man, we've been talking about this shit for bro. How long have we been telling people about Coinbase, Crypto.com, FTX? How long, bro? How long?
I can imagine this conversation has been going on since the first Bitcoin was mined. Since 2011, people have been saying, "Get off Mount Gox, get off Mount Gox."
And then that goes for precious metals as well. Self-custody with precious metals. Don't get into the ETFs and all of that.
Holding a paper silver certificate.
Exactly, like getting
Just
to the
like your
real
paper
thing.
money, just like your paper money that doesn't have any real value. You're holding another paper piece of money that doesn't have any value either.
Yo, riddle me this: when there's an EMP, what are you gonna do with that little piece of paper? What are you gonna do? Are you really gonna go and you think that person at the exchange is going to actually give you what that paper says? They're gonna be like, "Get the hell out of here!" If they have a bigger gun than you, you lose. That's it. If you don't have a bigger gun than the next guy, you will not survive. There is no amount of a paper certificate, silver notes that are going to save you. There's no paper dollar amount. In the end times, you're going to be using that paper as fire. Okay, that's all there is to it. And we were talking about this, but Mt. Gox, when Mt. Gox collapsed in 2013, it was 70% of the trading volume. FTX was only 10%. While FTX is worse on an absolute basis, on a relative basis, Mt. Gox was much, much worse. If Bitcoin can survive Mt. Gox, it can absolutely survive this. Imagine 70% of the Bitcoin that's being traded right now. Imagine if that happened right now. 70% of the Bitcoin halted. I mean, we're comparing anthills to mountains. 10%. FTX was a drop in the bucket. And we can see how much mayhem and fear and panic that caused. I don't think people are going to be ready for 12,000, 13,000 Bitcoin running around with like their heads got chopped off. But Bitcoin will go on.
Yeah, but I'm buying that.
I'm trying to buy that. I'm waiting too. I'm in this. I think all of the savvy traders are. We're not like maximalists or anything else. We're value traders, right? We're looking for what's the best value for a long-term investment, right? And if you've been doing your job in the crypto markets, if we've been doing our job in the crypto markets, hey, Warren Buffett says it, and it's a simple concept. When everybody is fearful, you get greedy, and when everybody is greedy, you sell, bro. Like when you can gobble up. I'm going to gobble up all the 12,000, 11,000, 10,000 BTC. I can, bro. Because I already know where we're going back to just from, understanding technical analysis in the charts. I see the same thing everybody else is seeing. This joint is going to 10, it's going below 10,000. I got 8,500. Everybody's saying something different. But I got it going to 8,500. It could drop below that. We don't know. All I know is I'm buying up everything. I like it under 16K. I like BTC under 16K. I think it's a good price. That's why we're holding at this level. It's obviously a good price. The market is accepting this price. And just to put it in perspective, man, the FTX thing wasn't that bad. The bad thing about the FTX thing was all of the fake shit that they were doing, trying to buy these companies and flip Robinhood shares and lock in politicians. And that doesn't really have anything to do with the price of Bitcoin, right? But it just takes away the consumer confidence of the crypto market because that whole scheme, it really wasn't that bad. Like in the grand scheme of things, hell, the Luna collapse is proven to be more detrimental than this collapse is, you know what I'm saying? So I don't think it's that crazy, but people got to understand at the same time, yes, it was only 10%, but with SBG, whatever his name is, and FTX, what they were doing with all the fraudulent, the things, the malice things that they were doing that goes against the crypto market. That's the real problem. And, I just want people to kind of be clear and understand what's going on. Like that shit was way worse than, the 10% market share that FTX had. There's still a lot of good exchanges out there that aren't trying to screw people over, that aren't trying to hold funds, and we've told y'all those just like we told y'all the ones who's going to get you. You know what I mean? Like there's some of them going to get you, some of them ain't going to get you. Either way, protect yourself on both ends, go get you a hard wallet.
And that's a fact. Like the fact that everything that I was hearing about the FTX situation was just things that made crypto in general look so bad. Like they talking about SBF sex tape. They talking about SBF what he did. He giving money to politicians. He running away with a book bag going in Bahamas. I'm like, bro, all of this fluff that y'all are doing, like it's like driving the market down mentally. Like it's making people want to sell because it's like these are the people in crypto, bro. I'm out of here. Like, you know what I'm saying?
These
Like,
are the gangs. These are the deep gangs that are going to be controlling the world in the next 10 years. Absolutely, yeah.
this
Unless
isn't what
you
I
do
thought
something
it
about it.
was. You know what I'm saying? But I agree, especially on that 16, anywhere below $16,000 Bitcoin. I agree because when I first got into crypto, like I first got in 16,000, and I just didn't even know what I was doing. I just like, oh snap, I learned about Bitcoin. I threw some money in there. So I think I like anything below 16,000. Like we said, head into that 10,000, below 10,000 levels, wherever it goes, I'm in there. This doesn't take the value away from, like actual Bitcoin. I like how you said, like it's a value. The value of it, like catching anything at a good value. Like the Solana situation. Solana getting drugged through the mud in the news and things like that. So I'm like, it's looking kind of nice. And then like the days before Solana was getting dragged through the mud, the Google announcement happened. So it just clouded everything else that they're doing. So yeah, I agree with you on that. Like it's you in this market, you cannot be fudded out. Like you have if something is looking some way, like if things are looking bad, that should be good for you. You looking to get in. Like if it's looking too good, get out. Like nah.
Oh yeah, speaking of being a contrarian trader, I fear and greed is in greed right now. Like people are actually greedy
Oh,
in
it
the middle
is.
of the bear
So
market.
that, well, I mean,
It's
yeah,
insanity. It's greedy.
yeah. I mean, they're accepting the price at this level, and that's not a bad thing, man. Um, it's really not a bad thing. I don't buy into the BTC going to a million. I gotta. I'm a price action trader, so you got to show me on the charts where that. And if you can't show me on the charts that, then you just you out here drawing fake charts like everybody else on Twitter. You know what I
Shit.
mean?
Hey,
Maybe
I might have to show you a couple charts after we finish this up, cause I got a
oh
few
maybe
projections.
Look, I'm not saying that it's not gonna have a run and it's gonna get up there, but a million,
No,
bro.
not the next cycle. Hell
maybe
no, not the next
maybe
cycle.
in 30 years. Maybe in 30
Yeah,
years with a couple
Yeah,
halvings.
yeah,
give it a
yeah,
few
yeah. I mean,
years.
maybe
It'll
we
happen
gotta
in a
get
few
to a
years.
100,000.
Yeah,
Well,
we gotta
You
get
know,
to
when
I
some
100,000.
halving cycles have cut in, you know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You maybe
I
have
give.
like 5 or 6 halving cycles.
Yeah, I
well,
give
I
it
say that
three or
I
four.
say that
So
because the Ultra Bond is the most expensive contract on the market right now. It's $100,000 face value contract. It's a 30-year bond for the United States government. In order for Bitcoin to get to a million, it has to dethrone our current interest rates. Okay. So they basically have to outpace the bond market and replace the bond market as the most expensive contract on the planet. And until that happens, I'm just a trader, bro. You know what I mean? Like I'm just trading what I see on the charts. And like I'm not saying that it can't happen. We hit 70,000. I watched that run of 70,000, 69K on Bitcoin and Ethereum, man. It was crazy, bro.
bro,
But that's what crypto does. Like it can run up. It can happen. But
yeah,
like I
I don't.
said, before it does that, it has to replace the ultra bonds in the bond market that traders trade every day, right? It has to be something that is adopted enough to be the primary trade. It has to have enough liquidity, right? Right now, it doesn't have the liquidity. It doesn't have the volume to get to that type of levels. I'm not saying that it can't do it, but it's going to take a lot. It takes a lot to have a
Oh yeah,
$100,000 face value contracts.
and
I'm gonna tell you
there's a lot
something.
going on. I think.
I'm gonna tell you something that I thought was interesting that I saw on the live stream. Remember the brother who was telling everybody to buy Bitcoin at $1?
Yeah.
Yeah, him. He brought this up, the fact that Bitcoin can not only be held by human beings but by machines too, as like a storage of wealth. And you saying like there's not much value in it, like not value but volume and different things like that. Now, as the machine and digital economy starts to grow together, a lot of liquidity could be added into Bitcoin just because of the emergence of machines. Like this man talking about your
Man.
refrigerator can hold Bitcoin. I'm like, bro.
They
Like
can. They can do that right now, actually.
it's a whole different ball game. Like we have not seen something to where human beings can interact with machines and robots in an asset class. You know what I'm saying? Like this is pretty crazy. So
And you
that
mentioned
could
you
mess around and take it to a million.
yeah, no,
Go
yeah.
ahead.
You mentioned you mentioned government bonds. What happens when El Salvador creates a Bitcoin backed bond off of volcanic energy, off of natural energy? What happens when when the 44 countries that met in El Salvador, 22 or 22 to 30 of them being African, what happens when Africa starts putting up solar panels in the Saharan desert and they start mining Bitcoin in the Sahara and they start backing their entire continent. I mean, the amount of things that we export from Africa, if that was based in Bitcoin, if that was denominated in Bitcoin, I think a million is a drop in the bucket, honestly.
I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm not saying you're
No, but
wrong.
it does take time. This is not something that
Yeah,
happens in 4
all of
years.
those things. I think El
Takes
Salvador is
time.
just starting to formulate the Bitcoin backed bond payment system. But like I
Hasn't even
said,
been released yet. Yep.
every buyer, if you want to sell something, you have to have a buyer. And if you want to buy something, there has to be a seller, right? And this is what I'm saying with the liquidity thing. Okay, so to answer your question is who's buying these Bitcoin backed bonds from El Salvador? What else in El Salvador's economy can they package to make that Bitcoin valuable to another country? So that's because if you're trading in a bond, another country has to buy it, right? So that's the next question. What's going to happen? I have no idea, but I know in order to sell something, you got to have a buyer.
Yep.
I do know that. So like we have to really,
Yep.
but once you, like you said, once everything is coupled, once Ghana, I think they came out and said that they're not buying oil no more with
Mm-mm.
USD. They're buying their oil with gold going forward. So like I said,
Mhm.
we're not that far away from it, but I just studying liquidity, studying the market, and understanding that it is possible. I'm not dogging crypto. I'm not trying to be bearish or anything, but I'm I just really want everybody to have a realistic mindset with crypto. It's totally possible. It could, if it gets to a million, it should be worth about between 5 or 10 million once all of its mined and all of those things have transpired over the next 100 years. It should be one BTC should be worth about 5 to 6 million. But there's a lot of things that can happen between now and then.
Mhm.
Provide that liquidity for it to get there. And right now, we're still at
Absolutely.
less than 1% adoption globally. Countries are coming online, and it is going to be a source of a means of methods to do transaction. But we got a long way to go. Like I said, I'm still enamored with it under 16,000. I like it to go a little bit lower and buy as much as I can.
I don't see it happening no time soon either. So
But that's not. At the same time, that shit
Yeah.
went from
No, I think it's
60,000
possible, but it's
to
not happening by 2030.
70,000
Sorry,
in
Kathy
three
Wood.
months.
it's true.
It went from 20,000 to 70,000 in 2 3 months. So those types of
Bro, I
returns
went
we have
from 3,500 to 70,000.
in a little
In
over a
like a
year.
year and a
Three,
half.
three,
Yeah.
Yeah,
$3,000.
yeah, a little
Come
over a
on.
year.
Three,
Yeah, so I'm
three
not saying that
thousand
it can't
bucks.
do it. It can't. I'm not saying that it's not
Yeah.
possible that it can't do it. I'm just want to get
No,
people an
yeah.
idea of what that
These
roadmap looks
things,
like.
yeah, this is not going to happen in the next halving cycle. You're not going to be a Bitcoin millionaire in the next 2 years. I'm sorry. All right, I'm sorry, but there is global adoption from Insider. El Salvador is moving towards raising 1 billion in bonds backed by Bitcoin by broadening its bet on crypto. So they've already got, I mean, they've got people all over the world, millionaires, billionaires already looking to invest in these Bitcoin backed bonds. I think Bitcoiners are underestimated in their total wealth. There's people like Max Kaiser who've been talking about and buying Bitcoin since $1, $10, and these people have been putting millions of dollars in. So there I think there is liquidity for buyers, but you're right. When it comes to who's going to be on the other end of that selling, or when you're ready to sell, who's going to be buying at the top when Bitcoin's up $200,000 from wherever it's at now. I think that is going to be a pretty big issue. Or now you're introducing yourself to short sellers, and now banks from America can short sell your Bitcoin backed bond and manipulate. I mean, that is
you're right back to where we have these problems, right, with the global markets being manipulated. So careful what you ask for, careful what you wish for. You might just
there's got to be a sweet spot somewhere. God damn it. So if we go over the past 5 years and we're looking at how to buy Bitcoin on Google Trends versus how to buy crypto, I mean, just the pop we've seen in Bitcoin versus crypto is unsurprising, I would say, because people are not looking for another FTX. People aren't looking for another proof of stake centralized piece of shit coin, POS, right? They're not looking for they're looking for something where 1 equals 1, and it's always going to equal 1. 1 Bitcoin is going to equal 1 Bitcoin. Now, the dollar denominations might fluctuate, but 1 Bitcoin is always going to equal 1 Bitcoin because there is a set supply, 21 million. So what do you guys think about this little graphic here? Is that any?
It just shows to me people just want, real like self-custody, like a real store of value type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And not speculate. I look at all the other altcoins as like presenting new cryptographic technologies. You know what I'm saying? Like they just like startups, even Ethereum. They're just like a whole bunch of different tech startups, and then Bitcoin is like, the one that can be it can be the store of value. It can be the the payment method. It can be the whatever you want it to be. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like
to the fiat money system.
Mm-hmm.
Not soon, but you know what I'm saying. Down the line, people may see, and the fact that like I said, with it being acceptable by robots, it could be if we get integrated into a more machine type of world. You know what I'm saying?
Imagine
if all of the AI algorithms and all of the bots was really the ones who owned all the BTC.
Bro, come on.
Then they sell it back to us.
It's like, here, you work.
Then they make millions. They make billions.
Yeah.
And it was just the biggest AI game plan.
Giving us 100 satoshis for mopping the floor real good. It'll be that would be a rough time.
Hey, not if you got self custody, man.
Get your own keys, guys. Please
get your own keys and dollar cost average on into that thing, man. Buy you a little bit here and there. Take $100 here. It adds up, man. It does add up over time. And when you see these dips and everybody's freaking out, that's when you, instead of buying $100 that month, then that month you buy $200, right?
Mm-hmm. And Rakeem, you said it. This is what Michael Saylor said. He said Bitcoin is sound money, and altcoins are technology companies with their own little currencies built into them. They're technology. Ethereum is a technology company. You can use the tech to build whatever you're doing. XRP is a technology company.
Updates and things like that.
Is a company. Bitcoin is the currency, the one true sound money. There is no second best. There is no second best. Okay, I had to say that one time for you guys. But thank you.
I had to learn that, bro. There's a big distinction.
It takes a bear market. Because when you're coming in, you think this is the future. The Ethereum's going to 20K by January of 2022. Raoul Powell. I mean, it's you get into the delusional phase. I heard 70% of crypto holders right now are in a loss. 70%. That's a pretty good number. You have to be able to change your perspective with time. When you
gotta be a little hard headed. You gotta be a little hard-headed. You gotta kind of put your head down.
You gotta take a 97% loss or 99.99% loss.
And just be cool with that and just go to sleep with that. You know what I'm saying?
If you understand how money works, you lose 100% of everything you spend at the store buying Jordans and Nikes and jerseys and jewelry and the Benzes and the Beamer. You lose 100% of that. So
no ROI on those,
and it's guaranteed.
No dollar. As soon as you drive that shit off the lot,
like it's guaranteed. You're guaranteed gonna lose. Guarantee you're gonna lose on it. So, no doubt.
Yep. This is a Satoshi world. We're just living in it, guys. I want to thank you for. Or you guys have any wrapping up comments?
All that I have is just if you would like to learn more about blockchain, crypto, precious metals, even follow me on Instagram at RakimX and on TikTok Ra.Kim. And also you can purchase my ebook if you want to learn more on the beginning level about blockchain and crypto. And I also do one-on-one consultations about blockchain and crypto, and it comes with my ebook as well. So yeah, that's all I have.
MJ Edge Out Trading, same old Instagram, Twitter, all of that. My kiddos just came in from playing at the pool. You want to say hi? Say hi.
Yeah, what's going on?
Hey,
He's the young macro
he's a future crypto
economist.
millionaire.
Young trader,
right
he trades, man. I got him trading
Young-
too, so don't get it
Look
twisted.
at him.
Oh, he's lit.
Hey, man. Go check out the videos. I got him making some money in the markets.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh.
Market watchers better make. He better watch out, man. Market makers better watch out. They got him on the charts.
Watch out.
Hey, thank you guys for joining. We will hopefully see you next week. We out.
Peace.
Peace.